All right, live on YouTube, Zulma Gonzalez. This mic is all yours.
Let's start it just like this. A
I love it.
thankful, a thankful Thursday to each and every only one of us. Happy Halloween. If it's happy for you, then wonderful. If it's not, wonderful. It's still all good. It's still all God. It's just a symbol of a symbol. Oh, it's interesting. Today is considered the Day of the Dead. But that's a myth too. There are no dead. Nothing is dead. All is alive, for all is God, and all is good, and all is God, and all lives, moves, and has its being in God. So today is a mythical day. Like I look mythical at the moment. Now I've been told, let's see if I can get this right. Gotta find the part that I look gorgeous today. Darling, I look gorgeous today. Yes, my get up. I'm actually going to a service now. I don't know. I was told to wear my Halloween costume, so I decided I would do this. I may try to make up some, Diana Ross cards or something and attempt. I've done that before, but it was with the big afro and the whole bit. But anyway, I have always enjoyed Halloween, and the older I got, the more I enjoyed it. So I thought, okay, I need a hair. Seldom, if ever, have you all seen me wearing a wig. I own wigs. I don't wear wigs. I just own wigs, and they come out at Halloween, even though when I purchased them, that's not the reason why. However, it is what it is. It is what it is. So let us do as we usually do. Let us begin. I have no computer, by the way. I am on the tablet. So you see no slides today. Wah, wah. You have no idea. The computer is going back into the shop. It's going to go and stay this time. There is an adapter. It's an Intel something something adapter, and it keeps showing up as malfunctioning, even though the computer says it's functioning perfectly. It's functioning perfectly. It's functioning to let me know that I can live without this piece of machinery for a little while. Well, I don't know. We'll see about that. Um, it's one of those. It's one of those idle things that means a great deal to me. Anyhow, today, as always, we are looking at A Course in Miracles meets the science of mind and other metaphysical teachings. We are reminded that the kingdom of heaven is within you, because the kingdom of heaven is you. And whoever shall know himself shall find it. Whoever shall know himself, herself, whoever, we shall know ourselves, and we shall find the kingdom of heaven. It is written by Dr. Ernest Holmes that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. There's only one, only one, only one. Regardless of how we try to see it as different and separate, there is only one. Whoever shall know himself shall find himself. Let us then begin each day with time devoted to the preparation of our minds to learn what each idea we will review that day can offer us in freedom and in peace. It doesn't say, it doesn't just leave it at to review each day. We are seeking the truth, to remember the truth of who and what we are. Peace. The Course reminds us that the motivation for this Course is peace. Seeking freedom. at all times, not holding on to stuff, not being in bondage, not being on the hook, not holding other people on the hook. I want to be free. Actually, I'm already free, but for me to know it and understand it, it is important for me, Zulma, to practice my freedom, practice thinking about my freedom, practice freedom. If you know these things, as it's written in the Bible, if you know these things, happy are you if you do them. It's not enough to just say, oh, I know that. Uh-huh. I know that. Dr. Ernest Holmes writes that truth known is demonstrated. Truth known is demonstrated. Don't say you know, but you don't show. Uh-oh, I hear a poem coming on. Don't say you know if you don't show. Don't talk about what you think is supposed to, that you know it's supposed to be this way, and you know this and you know that, and all the time the person watching, the child watching to learn by your example is being taught something other than what it is that your mouth is saying. Practice what you preach. Walk your talk. Happy are you if you know these things. Happy are you if you know them. We should train our minds daily. We should daily train our thoughts. Daily train our thought to recognize the spirit in everything we do, say, or think. If we recognize the spirit in everything that we do, say, or think, what would we say? What would we say? What would we think? It starts with all begins with a thought. What would we think? What would we say? What would we do? That child that's watching would see that what you are thinking and saying and doing is modeling something that you would want that child to do. Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadley, and I've brought this up before, she says, don't complain, don't criticize. There was a third one, and don't judge. Don't complain, don't criticize, and don't judge. And I'm going to add to that, mind your doggone business. Mind your business. That I think I'm going to read from Karen Casey, where she says, tend your own garden. Mind your own business. Meanwhile, we should daily train our thought to recognize the spirit in everything we do, say, or think. There is no other way. To try any other way would be to make a complete failure. That's by Dr. Ernest Holmes. And the reason why it would be a complete failure is because there's only God. There's only one true direction. There's only one source. There's only one right mind. There's only one way, the way. And regardless of whatever things are happening out there, the out there is something that we make, we create. I was reading in the the Abundance book by John Randolph Price this morning, where he said that the divine presence, I am, and the I and the am are capitalized. The divine presence, I am, is the source of my substance and my supply. The divine presence, I am. Now, if I make those capitalized, if I capitalize the am or I don't capitalize the am, the bottom line is that I am the divine presence. That presence that we call God, spirit, energy, life, love, whatever we choose to call it, it doesn't matter really. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care. But it's moving through me. It is flowing as me. Therefore, it is me. It is written that Jesus said, I and the Father are one. What a wonderful thing to remember on Halloween, this day of this mythical day. I and the Father are one. There is no weapon formed against me, for everything is God. It's going and coming, coming and going. It is all God. There is no other way. To try any other way would be to make a complete failure. To say that I am separate from you, that you are separate from me, that we are separate from God, to try it that way would be to make a complete failure. I can't separate myself from my breath. I have to breathe. And God is the breath I breathe. God is the life I live. This is a course, reminder, remembering. And it's interesting. In the in-person study groups that I facilitate, and the one I facilitate online, there's not a week goes by that I don't say, remember, this is a course in mind training. Every week. This is a course in mind training. I again remind you, begin each day with time devoted to the preparation of your mind. Preparation of your mind. This is a course in mind training. An untrained mind can accomplish nothing. All learning involves attention and study at some level. It's not sitting here. Now, I understand that there are people like Lynn who, because she facilitates all of the POW talk and the YouTube and the Zoom and all that, because she facilitates all that, she's here most of the time. This is her home. But when Lynn has other things to do, she does it with God in mind. She remembers who she is. She's living her life to the best of her ability, remembering God, living God, with her mind trained, focused, guarding her thoughts. She's not letting her mind wander to the best of her ability. Oh, there are moments, we all have them. That's that human thing. We all have it. But the rest of life happens for me outside of this computer, outside of this room, outside of the streaming. I stream a lot. You don't see me a lot, but I stream a lot. Outside of that, and I may be driving and streaming, and I still have to watch the road and see that car that cut me off, and that person who's dressed in a way that I wouldn't dress. And those are my moments. Those are my moments to live as I believe, as I know, to live what I know, that I am not separate from the person in the car that cut me off, that I'm not separate from that person who dresses differently than I do, because all those things, it's just form. The form may be different, but the content is the same. We are all from the same source. That's the time to remember when somebody's saying something that you think is crazy. Well, if you think it's crazy, then it's you thinking crazily. Oh, I'll repeat that. If you think it's crazy, then it's you that's thinking crazily, because everything we think is what we think, and what we think is coming from who we think we are. Every response you make, the course teaches, is determined by what you think you are. What you want to be must determine every response you make. Every response you make is determined by what you think you are, and what you want to be is what you think you are, because everything is now. Everything is now. I remember I would read that, and that middle section, what you want to be is what you think you are. I didn't get it. So I would go right from every response you make is determined by what you think you are to the last part of that, what you want to be must determine every response you make. But that part in the middle, what you want to be is what you think you are. It doesn't say will be. What you want to, and the reason is because I want to be that now. It is what I think I am. It is now. Now I need you to know that that kind of just came to me sitting right here. This is why I love being here, learning as I teach, teaching as I learn. This is why I love this, because when I'm just thinking thoughts, or I'm just reading and I'm not reading aloud. And Lynn laughed at thinking crazily. Yeah, but that's the truth. I'm the one doing the thinking. But when I read aloud, out loud, I'm able to absorb more. It's almost like it's like it comes out and goes back in. I don't know. That's what it feels like. It comes out and goes back in. When I'm just reading, to myself, well, it's all to myself. But when I'm reading and with no voice, with no active voice, because there are times when I hear myself read with an active voice, and I can actually hear what I'm reading. I can hear it out loud without me actually saying it. But when I'm not doing that, when I'm reading passively, the words just kind of trickle by. Oh yeah, today's lesson such and such. I read the lesson. What was that again? No, I make it a point to read it twice, at least twice. Uh, Sometimes I can't do it right back to back sometimes, but when I can, I do. I'll read it back to back because I want to break it down. I want to look at sentences. I want to look at words, not just full sentences. I want to look at words and phrases, because everything is written in a way that it means something the way it's written. I do understand that the word but in the course most of the time means only, but we don't want to keep using the word only. It doesn't, you are, but you are only, that you are that, whatever that is it's talking about, whatever that but is, it means only. I've I had to do that for to get some of the poetic communication, to the poetic talk out of me, so I could see it better, so I can understand it. I need to see it in a language that I speak, in a language that I understand. And that's the reason I think that a lot of people say they don't understand the course, because it was written poetically, and this word is over here and that word is over there. But if I just look at it and read it in language that I speak, it makes perfect sense. This course makes perfect sense. It really does. It really does. It's it's a course in mind training. What is mind training? Think about that. Anyway, all learning involves attention and study at some level. I can't believe I haven't got, well, that's as far as I've gotten with this. To learn how to think is to learn how to live. That child that's watching, which by the way could be your inner child, that's watching, listening, really observing what I am doing. I'm speaking for myself. That's observing my every move, my every word. It's hearing my every thought. What do I want to teach that child? Do I want to teach how do I want that child to to handle this world? Well, that's me. It's still me. It's still me. And there are moments. Yesterday was one of them. I was watching that commercial again, and I won't, go into details, but no, actually I wasn't watching the commercial. It came to mind, and all of a sudden I started to cry, and I realized obviously I needed that cry. Obviously I let that affect me. I let Here we go. I am responsible. I let that affect me, and I need to look at it, really look at it with pencil and paper, not even trying to type it out, with pencil and paper, and look at it, because the miracles are my rights. They're my rights. But purification is necessary first. If I have stuff in the way, you see what's happening with the hair, right? This is very intentional, by the way. Um, um, if I am letting the muck and the gook and the junk and the pain and the suffering, whatever, if I'm letting that block the truth of what I am, letting it block the love that I am, letting it block the God self that I am. If I'm letting it block that, then I cannot express that. And if I can't express that, I'm creating pain situations for myself. Miracles are my right, but purification is necessary first. I am obligated. If I want the truth, I am obligated to learn, pay attention, study. I am obligated to train my mind. I am obligated to learn how to think. Obligated. If I say I want peace, if I say I want joy, if I say I want love, if I say I want happiness, if I say I want smiles around me, I want life to just be exuberant all the time. The word I'm hearing these days is lavishly abundant. Lavishly abundant. And I'm not necessarily talking about money. I'm talking about the grass and the trees and the birds and the sky and the allness of life. The allness of the life that I'm living in right now. The allness of too much hair in this thing. Which you all say is gorgeous. And so it is. It was funny because I had gotten a text in here in the chat of a private chat that said that my haircut was really cute, and then Sharon comes in and says, "Oh, your wig looks great." Thank you for calling it out, Sharon. Thank you for calling it out. And that's okay. That's quite all right because it is what it is. And I started to set by saying that I own several. Maybe I'll play around with that. Maybe change one a month just to see if I even like them, because I usually just wear them for Halloween. Anyway, so it's all about this being what I am, the truth of what I am. Christian Larson writes that we naturally become master over all life when we understand and master the process of thinking. It's key that we master the process of thinking. Thoughts and things are but two ends of the same proposition. It's impossible, since it's impossible to stop thinking. This is from Dr. Holmes. We cannot stop creating. Our choice is always whether we shall create constructively or destructively. I think about people today, Halloween, and I hear people, I hear some people in one sentence say, I'm a Christian, I don't celebrate Halloween. Well, I know some that do. I know some people, Christians, people that call themselves Christians, that do celebrate Halloween. Is there anything wrong with it? It's fun for the children. Anyway, to each his own. To each his own. Some have little gatherings, little parties. And if not today, the Day of the Dead, what tomorrow then? The day All Saints Day, the Day of All the Saints, which is everyone as far as I'm concerned, because in the Bible, when Paul, that word saints comes up, when Paul is talking, he's talking to the saints, he's talking to people who were physically alive at the time. So we have been taught, if you're in the Catholic religion, that the saints are people who have done something miraculous and therefore they can get canonized by a pope, none of which is in the Bible. But they can be canonized by a pope, and I don't know what that means, except for St. Anthony. Dear St. Anthony, come around, something's lost and can't be found. I think we all know that one. I can't, no, that's not true. I can name a few, but in the Catholic faith, anybody, Saint Joseph and Saint Anne, which was Mary's mother. They don't call Mary Saint Mary. Gotta wonder about that one. Oh, that's right. Blessed was she among women, according to the prayer, and blessed was the fruit of her womb. Blessed was she among women. I just had a whole Catholicism, a whole Catholicism class jump in my head, and all that went with that. Anyhow, I can keep on. Our choice is whether we shall create constructively or make destructively. Again, it's important for me to get the muck and the junk and the to get it out, let it go, let it go, let it go, because miracles are my right, but purification is necessary first. And that, by the way, is miracle principle number 7 from the course. The mental pattern must always precede the material form, says William Walker Atkinson, and all thinking produces form at some level. Every thought we think is going to show up in some way. It's going to show up in some way. It might be, which is why there are no private thoughts. There are no private thoughts. It could be a breakout. You have, you're worrying about something or what have you, and all of a sudden your skin starts to break out and things that that shouldn't be on your skin in your perception. It could be an argument that breaks out because you were thinking angry thoughts, and then you went out there and someone said something angrily to you, because see, that energy was, you were vibrating it. And I know people who, no matter what, they keep getting into it, as they say, with somebody, and they're always saying that that's somebody this and that's somebody that. But if it's happening every doggone time, they need, it would begin, for me, it would make me wonder, well, how come it's not that way for you? How come, you always, end up in good conversations with people? How come people just, want to speak to you and they laugh with you, and then when they walk away, they're still laughing, or they're still smiling, and then there's good vibrations? Why is it that way for you, but not for me? I would have to look at that. I would really want to look at that. And that applies to anything. But if we're thinking from a sense of lack, we're going to be lacking. Something is always going to be missing. There's always not going to be enough of something, which of course the course calls idol worship. There is someone's mic that's on that is, I'm hearing it. It's somebody smacking or something. I don't know. Anyway, I don't have the gallery. I know it has to be here somewhere. Switch to gallery view. Here we go. So I can see everyone here. Oh, hi, Regis. Lori's still here. Sharon's still here. Carrie, hey, Carrie. Karen, my love. Karen's hand is up. Hey, Karen.
Hello, beautiful. I had that same exact haircut in the 90s. I'm gonna have to find it and show it to you. I mean, exact. So awesome. I love it, love it, love it. Oh my gosh. So I just was I had my mind up after you asked about what is mind training, and then I put it down, and then I put it back up after you talked about no private thoughts, because one part of my mind training is recognizing, when I'm having a thought that does not include everyone, that I cannot say that it includes everyone, and that is a private thought. And, the course tells us that, these thoughts, they're not our real thoughts. So that's good news, to recognize and notice that. But the other thing that really, really is helpful to me is to, when I'm training my mind, is to recognize, when I'm believing that something outside of me is actually upsetting me. Like you were talking about the way somebody might wear his pants halfway down his butt or whatever. So my thoughts that I'm thinking about this have nothing to do with that person. And that is where the mind training comes in for me, is reversing that projection and recognizing that it is my decision. It is my decision not to listen to my inner guide, to say, what, I'd rather be right than happy right now. I'd rather be whatever. But it's just, I love that you bring up mind training every week, because it's so important. It's every minute of every day. Thank you, my darling. I love you.
Thank you, my love. That's my Karen. And Gloria, and I didn't see you. I see you now. Because my screen, I'm on a tablet. So my screen covers one person, and it happened to be in that moment. It was you, Gloria, and there she is. Hey, my love, good to see you. Good to see you. Happy Halloween to anyone and everyone. That's my thing today. Happy Halloween. I'm actually going to a service this evening, a good quite a few miles away, and I was told they would save a candy bar for me. That means that there's Halloween involved. So I'm going, trusting that it's a milk chocolate candy bar because that's the only kind of milk chocolate or white chocolate because that's the only kind I eat. Anyhow, so the last of the mind your mind quotes is from Elizabeth Gilbert, who says you need to learn how to select your thoughts just the same way you select your clothes every day. This is a power that you can cultivate. This is a power that I can cultivate. Sometimes I'm right, spot on, and other times I'm not. And what I tend to be not spot on about is me and my stuff. That inner child I was talking about, I'm criticizing her. I'm not taking care of her. I'm not following the path, the agenda that I said I was going to take care of her. And then I'm criticizing myself for not doing it, and calling myself whatever, lazy, but it's the whole procrastination thing. And I know that I made it known that about this, accepting divine healing daily, otherwise known as ADHD. I know that I made that known. It is a reason, but it's not an excuse because I have chosen to have a behavioral therapist, which of course is mind training. It's all mind training. I chose to have this behavioral therapist. I chose to let her give me assignments, and I'm choosing to be defiant, rebellious. I'm actually, I, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. What I love about A Course in Miracles and all the metaphysical teachings, because they're all courses in mind training, is that it keeps reminding me, it keeps showing me that regardless of whether I do the assignment or not, regardless of whether I'm telling myself, reminding myself that I am God's child, that I am daughter, son, God in form, regardless of whether I do that or not, my worth is still established by that which created me. My worth is still established by God. My worth has nothing to do with what I think of myself. However, how much worth I give myself is. So it's important for me. And I'm saying it out loud today because I'm not doing myself any favors. I'm not doing her any favors. Well, she's getting paid no matter what, but I'm not doing myself any favors by having a to-do list and just not looking at it. But the problem with that now is, because before I didn't have to-do lists, now I have to-do lists and I don't look at it, and it's irking me. I'm putting myself on the hook. I have that list and I'm not doing it. I know what's on the list. I'm not even doing it. Some, not all, a little bit here, a little bit there. It's beginning to, I'm annoying myself with it. I'm annoying myself. So today, as soon as I get off of here, I'm going to put the printer in the car with the computer, and I'm going to go to Best Buy. The printer, I have not had a working printer in months, which is so unusual for me. But what I've been doing, I'll call Cynthia or I'll call Chardonnay and I'll ask them if they'll be kind enough to print for me. That's not fair. It's an injustice to myself. It's an injustice to them and to myself first, because I have things that I could, I could have held something up to the screen, and probably could if I wanted to do that. But nah, let's not even bother. Anyway, she says you need to learn how to select your thoughts just the same way you select your clothes every day. This is a power you can cultivate. It is a power I can cultivate. If you want to control things in your life so bad, work on the mind. That's the only thing you should be trying to control. The Serenity Prayer. accept what you can't change, which is anything outside of you, and change what you can, and that's you. I can change the way I think. Our decisions are continuous. I can always change my mind. Now, what time is it? I have no idea. It's 10:23. Okay, let's see where this goes. So I was thinking about the fact that today is Halloween. And just a few passages, for example, in chapter 11, section 8, paragraph 13 of the course, it reads, children perceive frightening ghosts and monsters and dragons, and they are terrified. Yet, if they ask someone they trust, yet if they ask, I don't know where that letter went, yet if they ask someone they trust for the meaning of what they perceive and are willing to let their own interpretations go in favor of reality, their fear goes with them. Right there. Children. Now, I had already mentioned the inner child. That's what I am. I am an adult child. We are all adult children. We started out, that whole thing about being kids, I don't know why. I personally don't use that word. I say children. I don't know why that word kids, I hear goats, I hear goats. I don't say I'm an adult kid. I don't refer to anybody else as an adult kid. I refer to us as all adult children. I brought with me everything from when I was an itty bitty thing. And now I'm not itty bitty anymore, but a lot of that is still there. The original mindset, what mommy taught me, what daddy taught me, what grandmom taught me, what my uncles taught me, that's all there. It's a part of who I am. When I think about, how to sit, it was my mother. When I think to do gregarious laughter, it was my father. When I be still and pray, it was my grandmother. They're a part of me because nothing is separate. Nothing is separate. The fact that they're not here in form doesn't stop the fact that the essence, the energy, the truth of what they are is one with me. So I am an adult child. All I did was grow taller, not much, but I grew taller and physically older and heavier and all that. And I don't have a problem saying I'm heavier because I was only 6 pounds and 5 ounces when I was born. And I wasn't going to stay that way. But today, I don't mean today, Thursday, but, in present time, I perceive ghosts and monsters and dragons and become terrified. Now, they're not out there. I was just talking about them. That my to-do lists, my past not doing the to-do lists, my so-called diagnosis, not enough hours in the day, wanting more of than what I have, thinking that I should be, there's that word, family, that I should be farther along. They're ghosts and monsters and dragons. And sometimes they terrify me. I'll sit sometimes and just cry. And then I remember again. Yet if they ask someone, and at that moment when I asked the Holy Spirit, that they trust for the meaning of what they perceive and are willing to let their own interpretations go in favor of reality, when I am willing to let that pain that I have brought on myself go, because I'm all caught up being upset by something I'm thinking, and I'm never upset for the reasons I think. When I'm willing to let that go, Spirit, now, please. That becomes it sometimes with tears streaming down my face. Spirit, now, please. Oh, this is horrible. Again, how many times do I have to do this? I don't want to keep doing this. I have no problem asking Spirit, help me, help me, help me. And the help comes. And the help comes. This particular passage came to me while I was sleeping. And I wish you could see the screen because it's black with purple, rather black with orange writing and all that, you know. It's Halloween. I'm having fun. When I'm willing to let my own interpretations go in favor of reality, the fear goes with it. The fear goes with it, which is why I can come here, know that this is broadcast, know that it's going to be available for people to see and hear, and talk about my pain. I'm causing it. Although I know people, I know people who think, well, nobody with common sense would tell you you're not trying to hurt yourself. I'm not trying to hurt myself. Yeah, I am. Common sense, common sense, not real reason, but common sense tells me that I'm hurting myself. Who else is doing it? Nobody came and knocked on my door and said, here's this pain. I'm bringing you pain. That's not happening. That's me all by myself. When a child, I'm reading from the course, when a child is helped to translate his ghost into a curtain, his monster into a shadow, and his dragon into a dream, he is no longer afraid and laughs happily at his own fear. You gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. I've gotta laugh. And I have been with tears streaming down my face, and in the moment, it's amazing that I see it differently. I ask to see it. I say it's amazing, but I'm asking to see it differently, and then I get that. Because the second that I ask to see it differently, I've already changed my thought. I've already made the change. As long as I'm focusing on the ghosts or the monster and the dragon, then I'm going to be in fear. But the second that I ask to see it differently, I have changed the way I'm thinking. And in that moment, the tears and the laughter come at the same time. And then I remind myself, what was that? What was the what was the cartoon? Oh, Magoo, you've done it again. What was that cartoon? Oh, Magoo. I can't remember which cartoon it was. Somebody put in the chat. Somebody remember?
Mr.
Oh,
Magoo.
It was the name of the. Oh, it was called Mr. Magoo. Okay, there we go. Oh, Magoo, you've done it again. I see your hand, Karen. Come on.
I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you for sharing that, Zulma. And we all can relate, all can relate. And I love the analogy of the children, and that the course teaches us. And it reminds me where he tells us, like, how can you wake children in a more kindly way than by a gentle voice that will not frighten them, but will merely remind them that the night is over and the light has come. So this is the beauty of A Course in Miracles, that we can change our mind, and with the Holy Spirit, with the gentleness, we don't have to be hard on ourselves. We don't have to beat ourselves up, because I used to, and that's why I'm saying this. I learned to put down the hammer and pick up the feather. you know? And yes, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to waken gently in a kind way. So we waken others gently in a kind way, which teaches us patience, with ourselves and others. So I just love what you're sharing, and I can so relate to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, Marianne Williamson, in her book, A Year of Miracles, on page 44, reads the prayer: May I not be tempted by the darkness of the world to think that God is gone, or lured into the thinking of the world to ever doubt love's power. God is here. Love is real, and I am safe. These things I know and will not forget. I'm going to read that again just before I go off. Um, not be tempted by the darkness of the world. There's a lot going on right now. And a lot of people are calling it darkness. A lot of people are calling it evil. A lot of people are calling it the devil. A lot of people are running around in fear. Because I'm forced to watch the news, I get to see a lot of that fear going on. I mean, terror. People are in terror. They're trying to find themselves in things out there, living nightmares, waking nightmares. I honestly believe that there are people who are doing things so that they can be caught because they can't handle out here. You go to jail, you get 3 meals, you get warmth if it's warm, if it's warmth, you get, I don't know if there's air conditioning. I don't know about that. But you're being taken care of. You have someone, a mommy figure or a daddy figure, who tells you what to do. You don't have to think for yourself. You're actually being cared for. And I believe that there are people who are doing this, are out here doing these things because they're afraid to be out here. They can't handle it. They can't handle it. They can't handle it. An author named Uzo Aduba, in her book, The Road is Good, she says, what I am and who I am is more than enough. This woman talks about, and she also said, the journey is hard, but it's worth it. It's worth it. When I have my to-do list and I, cross things off, it's such a good feeling, even though the doing, of course, talks about in the section, the correction of means and ends, it says, you want this, but you don't want to do that to get it. And it says, and it makes me laugh every time I hear it, read it. It says, why don't you just admit that you're inconsistent? Why don't you just admit that you're inconsistent? I want the peace of God. And then turn around and just go jump in somebody's face, jump in my own face. Just don't follow the list. Just go do something that's just going to bug me, bother me, things that are just going to cause problems where I'm going to cause myself problems in my own life. But I say I want the peace of God. To say these words is one thing, and to mean them is everything. It's back to that child who's watching. Oh yeah, I'm going to and then turn right around and do something different. I come back to that passage in the Bible that I brought up last week, I think, and I'm bringing it up again today. It says to be a doer and not just a hearer. A person who's just a doer is like a person who looks in the mirror and then walks away and forgets what they look like. They forget how they look. You say you want this, but you're not willing to do that to get it. Inconsistent. What I am and who I am is more than enough. The journey is hard. See, I just thought about Regis though. He says he likes things easy and things come easy because he likes things easy. And even as I'm saying this right now, it occurs to me that even the so-called difficult things, because he is thinking he wants easy, the difficult things are easy. I just learned a lesson. Regis, thank you for just for having your face here today. If I want it easy, I need to think of it as easy because the end result makes it easy. The end result, when I cross it off my list, I'm smiling, I'm doing a little dance, you know. You know, we'll do a little dance. It's not that the thing is hard. It's what I think about the thing that's hard. Oh, Zulma. Ooh, I think I may have just got the light bulb. The light bulb may have just come on. See, it's one thing when I am talking about you and me, another physical body and my body. I don't have a problem with that. I genuinely love people, and people know that I genuinely love them. It's just that's just me, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that because my relationships are good. They're good and very good. I get smiles. I get phone calls. I got phone call this morning. Well, no, not a phone call, a text message, because I haven't given him my phone number. Of somebody that I knew from that used to work with me at the post office who sent me a text message and asked me to go to lunch. And he lives miles away, and he's willing to drive to Philadelphia for us to have lunch. Oh, all right. I'm not saying no to that. Yeah. Thank you, Gloria. I'm not saying no to that. And I had and he found me on Facebook. Years. I had not seen him, talked to him in years. When I looked at him on Facebook, I didn't even recognize him because it wasn't the same face that I remembered from when we were young. Girl. So my relationships, you know, my friend Ruth Ann, I've known her since we were babies, literally babies. She's 6 months my junior. My friend Angie from first grade. My friend Debbie, my bestie from third grade. This is what I keep this around me, with me, for me, to me, as me. But when I start talking about me and me, me too, Lori. I love romance and reunions too. Oh, no. Wait a minute. We were not in a romantic, we have never been in a romantic relationship, although I'm starting to suspect that he, you know, well, some of the things that he said have given me the impression that, okay, so we're both poets, is what it is. I really believe, and I've had this happen. It's kind of like celebrity. Oh my God, it just occurred to me. That celebrity thing, you know, I've been a performance poet. I started performing poetry back in 1988. And so when I came to the post office, I was already, I started in the post office in 81. So I was, so it became known, and people came to, you know, some of the readings that I would do and all that kind of stuff, and all that, you know. And then I used to have these little chat books out. I, you know, had these books of poetry, and people were buying them, and people are still, you know, still sending me pictures of me with, you know, pictures of the book that they purchased, and I used to make greeting card and all that stuff, all this stuff. And And I know that he was taken by that. Well, he writes poetry now. He writes. And so he found me on Facebook. And we've been in touch ever since. He's, I don't reach out often. I don't go on Facebook often. So, but I hear from him frequently. So we'll see about that. Anyway, what I am and who I am is more than enough. The journey is hard, but it's worth it. And I forget when it's me and me that the same way that I extend to others and others extend to me. It's just it's such a natural give and take. It's just so natural. So Regis sent lovable, the most beautiful um neckerchiefs, bandanas, beautiful to lovable. So when it comes to out in, that's easy. That's easy. But when it's me, just me, I forget. It's 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 not easy. It's hard. It's having a list and not following it. It's having had the list for years and not following it. It's thinking that what's the point? What's the use? I'm not worth it. It's me having to, I used to watch the movie It's a Wonderful Life a lot. I used to watch it a lot because I needed it to remind me that I was worthy. Not anymore. Not anymore. I don't feel that way anymore. I don't have those kind of thoughts anymore. But I used to watch it and cry. I still watch it and cry. It's still one of my, I own the actual movie. I don't have to wait till Christmas time to watch it because it's not just a Christmas movie to me. It's a movie about realizing that you're worthy, that you've always been worthy. And I'm grateful that we can't save ourselves alone. I am grateful, grateful, grateful for that. That we can't save ourselves alone. If you remember the movie, the angel Clarence comes to help George, who's in a despondent state, and George is actually contemplating, suicide. He's getting ready to jump in the water, and Clarence jumps in, and George forgets himself and jumps in to save Clarence. And in saving Clarence, he gets saved. You know what, Karen? Please tell Uncle Vincent that it's one of my favorites as well. And I'm actually getting misty-eyed. I tell you, I cry. I can't watch the movie and I cry. The journey is hard. Nobody said, what's that song? Nobody told me the road would be easy, but I don't know the words. Regis, I know that's a song you probably know. I can't think of the words of the song, but there's a song that says, basically, nobody told me that the road was going to be easy. That's not true. My mother did. Mommy did for me things that I was not taught to do for myself. And I know that parents who do everything for their children really aren't that's not the best thing for the children when they aren't around anymore. That it's as parents, as friends, as each other's brothers, sisters, we're to be the wind beneath each other's wings, being careful not to clip the wings by doing this for them and doing that for them and doing that. Don't worry about it. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. And then when I'm not around, you can't do it for yourself. The journey is not hard. The journey is what's hard is the way I think about the journey. It's not hard. It is worth it. It is really quite easy. There's nothing in God's world. There's no order of difficulty. Yeah, okay. So It's a Wonderful Life really did get me misty-eyed here. I really did it. I'm gonna have to watch that movie the next couple of days. So yeah, it's I'm having breakthrough thoughts right now, and I appreciate being here to get past the ghosts and monsters and dragons and the dark shadows. Dr. Ernest Holmes asks, no, he writes, how many phantoms we all carry around with us in our imagination? How often we have such morbid and unhappy thoughts that they actually appear as gigantic and menacing figures about to seize us in a death-like grip. That's basically what the Course says with the children. And how seldom do we face these fears and try to find out exactly what they are and where they come from? What we do is rerun. I, I, I won't say we, I run. Flight is always easier. Oh, you invited me somewhere. There I am. Oh, but I said I was going to do this project, finish this project. I said I was going to clear that space. I said I was going to, on my list was this, that, and the other. But no, I can't do that because you invited me, and I run. I run. Or I freeze. It's sure I'm tired. Sure using that right about now. 2 in the afternoon, just woke up at 11. Well, actually at 5 and at 3 and at 6, because I was thinking about the things on the list. I'm just using this as an example and things that have been so. But so now it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I could be doing something on the list, but now since I kept waking up all night long, throughout the night, I'm sleepy. I didn't get enough sleep, so I have to sleep it off. Excuses, excuses to stay in misery. Wow. Excuses, just looking for reasons to stay miserable. How often and how seldom do we face these fears and try to find out exactly what they are and where they come from? What a shock. This is Dr. Ernest Holmes talking, by the way. This is from the 1920s. What a shock and what a surprise it is to us when we realize that we are the ones having the dream. Row, row, row your boat, family. We are the ones who are creating the phantom. And in a certain sense, running away from the shadow of our own fears. That's what I just said. And again, shadow. This was today's Halloween theme for me, was phantoms and shadows. Phantoms and shadows. The shadow. What's that TV show? Who knows? The shadow knows. Shadow knows nothing. The shadow is an image. The image can't see, and I'm afraid. I'm saying I instead of we. I could say we are afraid of our own shadows. In the Bible, there's that passage, that famous passage. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. And it doesn't say that I'm walking through the valley of death. It says I'm walking through the valley of the shadow of death. Shadows, not real. Shadows, just images. Shadows, walking at night and and it's happened. When I first got Lovable, good example. When he first found me, and we would walk at night, he would recoil. He was afraid because first of all, he had been on his own before he found me, but now he's walking with me, and my shadow would frighten him. So I had to, and when I realized it, like, what? Why does he keep? What's going on? Why does he keep doing that? And when I realized it, I had to find a way to hold his leash in such a way, either that he was farther ahead of me enough that he couldn't see that he was ahead of my shadow, or right next to me, so that the shadow would be on the other side. But there was nothing there was nothing to be afraid of. And now he could care less. He understands it's not real. It's not real. He was terrorizing himself with something that wasn't real. The shadow of death is not death. It's a shadow. It's not real. A pain spot that I've created that's not real. In in chapter 13 of the course, I need to go there. I believe it's chapter 13, section 4, paragraph 6. I'm looking for the course, though, to bring it up so I can read it directly from the course. And it's talking about shadowy figures. It's talking about the past and how we hold on to these shadowy figures. And it says that it is what we must escape. The shadowy, the shadowy figures. Oh, it's in here numerous times. The shadow figures you would make immortal are enemies of reality. The shadow figures are the witnesses you bring with you to demonstrate that someone did something that they did not. The shadow figures. But that's not what I'm looking for. I can't find what I'm looking for. It's in chapter 13. It's in section 4. It's in paragraph 6. Time me to grab the book. And I know that's where it is because this was part of my awakening. I know that's exactly where it is. Chapter 13, section 4, paragraph 6. It says, the shadowy figures from the past are precisely what you must escape. They are not real and have no hold over you unless you bring them with you. They carry, that's these shadowy figures. They carry the spots of pain in your mind, directing you to attack in the present in retaliation for a past that is no more. That to-do list, it's been the same to-do list for a long, 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 long time. The to-do list was written when mommy was alive. The to-do list was written, wow, when I was 11. The to-do list has been around since my childhood. And it's time. Today, I get to say it's time to start crossing off the items on the to-do list. Now, some of those items are going to come back again because it's not one and done. It requires attention and study. It requires attention and study, persistence, engaging. There's no such thing as washing the dishes and they're done and you never have to wash them again. No. I'm on to that one. I'm on to that one. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as taking a shower today and and then putting on just clean clothes every day after. No, 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 no. That's not a one and done. It's done for that moment, but every moment is continuous. Like decisions are continuous, life is continuous, but the shadows aren't real. The phantom and the shadows are not real. They carry the spots of pain in your mind, directing you to attack in the present in retaliation for a past that is no more. And this decision is one of future pain. Unless you learn that past pain is an illusion, the shadowy figures, unless you learn that they are illusions, you are choosing a future of illusions and losing the many opportunities you could find for release in the present. The ego would preserve your nightmares and prevent you from awakening and understanding they are past. It is no more. The past is gone. Let it go. The lists can be crossed off one thing at a time, one item at a time, and let it go, letting the self off the hook. I will close with that prayer by Marianne Williamson. May I not be tempted by the darkness of the world to think that God is gone, or lured into the thinking of the world to ever doubt love's power. God is here, love is real, and I am safe. These things I know and will not forget. And so it is. Amen. Lynn,
All
this Halloween
right.
day.
Amen, amen, amen. Thank you so much, Zulma. Wow, what a beautiful teaching and how relevant right now. How we